is insured. He said, well, it's his registration sticker doesn't go for that car. And I said, no, it's my buddy's, but he's not using it right now. Oh, and plus I have a CHL and a weapon on me. And he just looked, get the hell out of here. He didn't want to mess it all in. Car's not stolen because I don't have no registration for it. I told him, hey, but it's insured. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to alert you that
Jesse Contreras
there are issues that I may ask you questions about, and you need to be real careful how you answer because there's something that, that 3 weeks or a month, they'll ask you, hey, well, for example, the issue of gays, the LGBT, the issue of the police relations, things like that.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah. Boxing has prepared me well.
Okay.
Okay.
I've been interviewed. I've been.
Yeah, because this is not just live; it's also taped. So
yeah, I understand.
Kind of hard to. Oh.
Well, there we go.
All right, folks. Garrido, Casey Ramos.
How's it going, everybody?
Ramos.
Casey.
Ramos is good enough. You know what I mean, right?
Yes, sir.
Candidate City Council, place 2.
Yes, sir.
That's out here in Dust Springs.
In your neck of the woods.
That's out in my neighborhood. And you've been there lifetime, right?
Lifetime, born and raised, yes, sir. And my grandparents have been there since the
Loud
late
and proud.
60s, the late 60s and the early 70s.
44 and a half. What's that?
44 in the house.
Oh, 44. Oh.
Oh, yeah, 4-4. That's how we say it. The 4-4.
Oh, the zip code, the
7, 8,
4-4.
10,
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Well, you're also a boxer.
He's behind the times. He doesn't understand.
44, not 44. What the hell are you telling me? Oh, 44. Oh,
4-4, 2-7. That's what we like to call it. It's a
Okay.
former bus number that used to be in our, but not just that. It represents a lot more. It represents a whole movement, a whole neighborhood. So that's what
number
we are.
7, yeah.
The number 7 and then the 2-7. 4-4 and 2-7. Yep, the 2-7.
All right, the 2-7. Number 11 and the number 7. About my only ones. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we get you at City Hall, I want to work on the buses too.
Yeah.
All this stuff they're talking about, the new transportation,
Well,
get more buses, more routes.
Right.
I can't walk that far.
Yep. And more people ride the bus.
Yeah, cut the price in half, you fill them buses up.
Yep.
With all that money left over, you can also put a little awning or something over all them bus stops, so I ain't got to split my you-know-what all.
Well, transportation is obviously a big issue here because we were talking about that earlier today about the congestion, at peak hours, in the morning or in the evening, when everyone just, either tries to come into town or tries to leave out of town, but all at the same time.
Right.
So as we grow as a city, those are some of the challenges that we have. But I've said that, some of those can be cured just by human behavior.
Yep.
For example, in Mexico City, when I was in Mexico City recently, transportation, we talk about transportation. Right now, today, if I'm in anywhere, Dove Springs or East Austin, and I'm at a bus stop, there's a bus stop, and I'm 1 block away.
Yes,
The driver drives up to the stop sign, sees you coming down a block away or half a block away. He won't wait for you. He'll take off.
Oh, yeah.
Or she'll take off.
Oh, yeah.
Now, in Mexico City,
They'll pull up there and pick
you
you up.
have a bus and it go travel. Hey, come on, let's go. All right, next block. Hey, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
But what is it doing? It's meeting the objective of moving people around.
People.
Right. Being more efficient.
See.
Plus, he's making money.
Now here, because we're accustomed to a different way, more of a schedule, and everything is structured, and that's why many people don't use a bus because they don't want to be standing out there a whole hour.
Right.
Or if I want to go from here to Walmart by 290 over there by Brody Lane, it takes me 3 buses.
Okay, yep.
So
I think that goes back to Mr. Ritter saying, investing more.
Pokey.
And Mr. Pokey here, investing more money into more bus routes, and not having to walk as far, or maybe having bus routes and then having a smaller bus that connects you into the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Right.
I was going to say the time thing, and the only thing that bothers me is to have to walk so far. I really don't mind if I'm on the bus for 2 hours. I understand that part. If I want to go to North Austin, it's going to take me a while to get there on the bus. But I'm handicapped, can't walk that far. And in this heat, I can't even walk that far.
Right.
Well, you threw him right into the water by talking about the election. But I want you to talk to us a little bit about your most recent victory
Yes, sir.
And the other profession you have, and that is a professional boxer. Give us a little bit about that. How long you've been fighting and things like that.
Well, I've been boxing.
Boxing.
I've been boxing, fighting my entire life. My grandpa, my two uncles, they were all fighters. You know, my cousins, my brothers. It's a family thing.
Mention their names so that way people out there can relate to it.
My grandfather is Joe Sanchez. He passed away in 1995.
Late Joe Sanchez.
The late Joe Sanchez. And my two uncles are Joe Sanchez and Conrad Sanchez, and they're both born and raised in District 2 also, but now only one of them still lives in District 2. And, you know, my family's been there a long time, and it's a boxing. Austin used to be a big boxing town.
Golden Gloves.
You know, back from the 60s to the 80s, big boxing town. Everybody boxed, and then boxing and community work also went hand in hand. So I'm the last remnants of that, I guess you could say, you know, being a boxer, and I'm taking it further than anybody's taking it. I'm signed up with Top Rank, one of the biggest boxing corporations in the world. You know, I'm world ranked. I'm still undefeated. And like you just mentioned, I just fought in California. I fought on TV. This is probably my 4th or 5th time fighting on that channel. Fought on major network TV before, you know, and we're just trying to put a name for Austin, not just for District 2, but for Austin as a whole. And trying to show that a lot of positive things are going on down in my district and in Austin itself.
And you're also attending the University of St. Edwards as well.
Before we go that far, can I go back to this boxing thing? Because your
Okay.
dad used to be big here.
Mm-hmm.
You're not on drugs when you're on boxing, are you?
No, nope.
Because there used to be that gym here on East 5th, was it?
We ain't no Lance Armstrong over here.
Well, yeah, a long time ago.
Hey, your
the kids
people.
was right there. That's my people there, huh? No, that's one of the liberal white people.
Yeah.
But I know that was a very good, positive thing for getting kids off the streets.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is that correct?
Oh yeah, big time. My family in general, my father has all the kids that we've ever trained have all come into our house. We've mentored them. He's, you know, helped them out in any kind of way, put money in their pocket, you know, fed them, just doing anything. And so whenever you have a lot of kids boxing, it gets them off the streets, and that's primarily what boxing is. Boxing is a poor man's sport, as we like to say, and it gets kids off the street, gives them something to do, gives them discipline, you know, gives them character, gives them something to strive for, something to reach
If
for.
I'm correct, there was a lot of those kids came from troubled backgrounds, you might say, or broken homes.
Right.
And you've been involved in mentoring, and you've been involved in this all your life.
Oh yeah.
Your family
oh, yeah.
has.
Oh yeah, all my life. And,
So you already come from helping the community.
Oh yeah, and we were discussing earlier, you know, I've always been, I guess, politically connected, but I just never knew it. I always thought it was just a normal thing to do. I always thought community work was just what you did on the weekend, and go out to the boxing show and go out to go help or volunteer or do something like that.
Go to one of the guys' houses to pick him up, make
Yep.
sure he can get down there.
Yep, exactly. Shoot, we used to
Make
drive.
sure they have some money. Or
Shoot,
pair of shoes.
every evening we hopped in a big old church van, and we would drive around all around Southeast Austin or East Austin and pick up 10, 15 kids, drive them to the gym, and drive them all back home at 9:30, 10 at night, and do the same thing every day.
That's good.
Yep.
And none of them was on drugs when they're down there. huh?
No, because there's no time. When you're
No
busy,
time,
when
no
you're
running
training,
the streets,
yep.
getting into trouble.
That's right. So anytime everybody asks me, hey, you know, you do all this and they do that, I'm like, well, I really don't have time. You know, I'm always training. I fight, take a couple of days off, and I'm already back at it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Cavito.
Where do you train?
Montopolis.
Montopolis.
Yep, the Montopolis Boxing Gym. I've been in that since I was a kid, since I was 6 years old. Influential boxing coach, Donald Bisley, but they like to call him Pops. Everybody knows him as Pops. And he started me off, him and my dad. And him and my grandpa used to work together, but then my grandpa, of course, you know, passed away in '95, and then my dad and Pops took over the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we came out, me, James Kirkland, Curtis Meeks, my two older brothers, Roderick and Rick Ramos. And Rick Ramos happens to be, he's my treasurer. So my brothers, they're advisors too. You know, they trained me as a boxer. They helped my dad train me as a boxer, but then they're also advising me politically because they're both educated also. You know, so we're tying it all together and helping us use this platform for boxing to sort of transfer over to the political arena.
Okay, so you also attend the University of St. Edwards, is that
Yes, sir.
correct?
Yes,
And are you you're getting a degree in what area, or?
I'm getting a degree in economics, a BA in economics, and we don't really have I didn't really minor in public policy, but I emphasized on public policy. So anytime I could, I took a course and I focused on public policy. So I wrote my capstone on Code Next and Imagine Austin and what that is and the effects on Austin it could have, or the adverse effects it could have and the positive effects it could have if the community is involved and the community knows about it.
Tell us a little bit about that, because I personally, I mean, I'm involved with neighborhoods and all that, but Code Next has been something so far
Yeah.
from us that
Right.
and very uninteresting and very boring, and it seems like they already have an agenda. But
Right.
explain or talk to us about your experience with Code Next. 'Cause you shared some interesting information with us.
Well, there hasn't really been enough community involvement, in my opinion. There's
I agree.
I recently learned, and it's very important, because I guess I'm gonna throw the word out there, the gentrification. Everybody just keeps using it over and over again, but that's what's happening in Austin basically. And Code Next can either exacerbate that or it can reduce that if the community is involved and the community knows about it. But the community doesn't know about it, and that's a big problem. So I recently learned that we have allotted $500,000 in our next budget towards Code Next, and half of that is supposed to go towards community involvement, community engagement, and getting the community to know about what Code Next is and putting things on. So that's what we really want to push. And I think if the community can take control of Code Next and really put some input on it, I think we can sort of mitigate a lot of the things that happens with gentrification and the influx of affluence that's coming to Austin.
I liked what I was reading here on your Twitter.
Come on, Mom.
And it says, took it to the limit, got the KO victory, all while training and campaigning, knocked him out.
Yeah.
And then it says, congrats to the Wizard. I guess that's your nickname?
That's my wizard. That's a nickname I got from my old coach Pops when I was 8 years old.
Who improves to 23-0 with 6 knockouts
Yes, ma'am.
after stopping Hardy Paredes in the 5th round?
Yes, ma'am.
Dang.
Training and campaigning. That's one of our slogans right now.
Well, it seems to me like that the new elected council needs someone every now and then to beat them up around or beat them
Yeah,
up.
I think,
Give them a good round.
We had a lot of lawyers on the council before. Tell them we had a boxer on there.
Yeah, they need a hitman down there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Down
But
Well, congratulations on that record there.
Yes, ma'am. I
there.
appreciate it. It
Picture
took
of
a
it
lot of
on
hard work.
Facebook. Just push in Casey Ramos there, folks. And
Do I have my computer here?
No,
Guys, be quiet.
you have a Facebook and you're on Twitter as well.
Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Facebook, you can look me up, Casey Ramos. Twitter, Ramos for D2, and Instagram, WZR4.
you got 2 or 3
Okay.
Casey Ramos Facebooks. You got to
and-
go to the one at
Oh, yeah.
City Council.
Yeah,
the
you can go.
one
You
that's-
can go. Also, like my page, City Council. That one's got a lot of likes, and I post stuff on there too. I like to keep that sort of separate from my personal Facebook because the personal Facebook's or not the professional Facebook's about boxing and school and stuff like that. And then of course the District 2, I like to post stuff about Code Next. My own backyard garden. That I grew to show that we can be sustainable and that I'm also trying to be a part of the community and be sustainable and efficient. Things like that, and things about my team, my campaign, what's going on.
Well, I would say this, like, I being a old Chicano, if you will, and you being the new Chicano coming up,
Yeah.
what interested you in the politics?
We're not fitting this picture now.
The what?
Hey, we still share some of the same core values,
I got
but,
my
you know.
black plat.
Yep.
What interested you? What interested you in running in District 2?
Well, like Pokey brought up, I've always seen a need for young men like myself and young women who have been sort of at risk or so-called at risk or are at a disadvantage in the community. And so me, not so much because I had both of my parents, and we didn't always have everything like the most growing up, but we had everything we needed. Not everything we wanted, but everything we needed, So that gave me an advantage. So I saw the need for it. I saw the need for representation. I saw the need for public education, for more of a solid community. And so, and I've been doing, like we were talking about earlier, I've been doing community work my entire life. So when I got a little bit older, people started coming up to me and say, hey, you're involved in politics. I'm like, no, I'm not involved in politics. I'm involved in the people. I'm involved with helping people. And so people gave me the idea, a group of my own people that follow me. They said, hey, you got some influence. Why don't you run for city council? And I thought it was going to be in another 2 years, but it sort of came up a little faster than I thought. But hey, we're here and we're going for it.
Yeah, because she drew 2 years
2 years, yep.
instead of 4.
Right.
So that's why. But we also have another young man on the city council right now. And
Yep,
he's-
Gregorio Casar.
He's
Yep.
either 25 or 26, right?
Yeah, I believe it's around the same age. Yes, sir.
I think when he ran he may be 26 by now because when he was running or when he ran he was 25. What do you see having grown up in Dove Springs
Hello, Robin.
all your life and even today? What What would you say to the public that would convince them to put you in office? What ideas do you have for Dove Springs? What do you see as that could happen there that would better the community?
Well,
what shortages are there?
Well, I can't see how we can be a big global city and we can't even get our grass cut. You know, let's start basic first. Let's start basic. Some things that are actually attainable, things that we can look at and put on paper, put them down, write them down, and get them done. You know, get the grass cut the medians, get the grass cut. You know, cleaning up litter, picking up trash, just beautifying the neighborhood first of all, and then we can expand and go and work on affordable housing, work on Code Next. You know, work on the public education system, which, you know, needs to keep par with private education, because there's a lot of charter schools and things coming in that are for the public, but, you know, they're still private institutions. And so, you know, we want public education to also keep up with that, and then just also make it affordable for the next generation. You know, we want to be able to we want to be able to live in the neighborhoods in the city that we were born and raised in, and that we ourselves helped build and our parents helped build through property taxes. You know. Because our parents have been here. My parents have been here for 30 years. My grandparents have been here for 50 years. You know, and that's a lot of money to pay into the property tax system and not to reap any of the benefits. So that's what we're working on right now.
You curse East William Canyon, you got my vote.
Yeah, that
East William Canyon.
Man, that's a dangerous road.
It used to be a nice 6-lane with the thing. You drive your truck, your bus, whatever down it. Any weather.
Yeah.
And then they put in a damn bike lane on both sides.
Right. Yeah.
It gets dark at night. It get dark and rain. And now I'm getting old. I'm in a little car now, but I'm still getting older or something.
Yeah. They shortened up the lanes and they
Made
sort
them
of
skinny lanes so
yeah,
they could put
skinny
in the
For the bikes.
Yep.
darn bike lane.
And also there's a lot of potholes. You know, potholes is
Potholes
cracked.
are starting
You
to jump
know,
up everywhere.
not just that, but also the median, the grasses hasn't been cut all summer.
Grass ain't been cut. You
You
got
know?
big rocks and all that come out the highway and they stack them up on the. You ever seen that? And my mom said, "Look at all this." They
Yeah.
got. I don't know why they stack
Right.
these big rocks up there. They pull them out the street, I guess.
Yeah, I got a friend who lives his backyard is to the back of East William Canyon, and he has to go to his backyard, go out of his property, and cut his own yard. You know, which is not his job,
Yeah,
but he
the
does it
grass
anyway.
there is growing up high.
Yeah, I mean some parts are cut, but you know it needs to be the entire thing. 'Cause that's a danger.
Bet it's cut over there on the
On the
where
west
my people live.
Yeah.
That's just one of them. When you talk about things like a waste of money on beautification type stuff, you go no further than right on the east side of Pleasant Valley and 7th Street. How much did all that fiasco cost?
With the bricks and all of that. you're
Oh
talking-
Lord,
Yeah.
I don't want Dove Springs going through. We know that doesn't work. Why do they want to do the same thing?
Right. Yeah.
That's
Well, I think we stopped using bricks in the 1800s for a reason, right?
Yeah.
You know, we started
got
using
trucks
asphalt.
And buses now. They say,
Yeah.
"Oh, we need to make it good for the." No, we don't. We need to make it for trucks and buses.
Yeah.
That's
So you were raised in Dove Springs.
Yes, sir.
they need trucks and buses.
During your lifetime in Dove Springs, what changes have you seen? And I don't live in Dove Springs, but I have nieces and nephews that do. But I've also heard that it's a very transit community, like a lot of rentals, so people aren't stable. They don't.
Right.
A lot of
About
them
half
come in
and
and
half,
out. in
right?
and
Yes,
out.
half and half. It's 50% ownership and 50% rent. Yes, sir. And as far as the changes, you know, Dove Springs used to be one of the most affluent neighborhoods in Austin. You know, it used to house a lot of military bases, military officers when the Bergstrom Air Force Base was there. And so they had it first, and then that base closed, and a lot of them left, and then a lot of lower income or the working class came in. Section 8 came in, and other working class type folks, and they bought houses. My grandpa sold his 2 homes in Metropolis and moved to Franklin Park. And that's where they bought their house, and that's where that's my grandma's been ever since. And so that was the first real big change that I know about and that my family went through. So there were that first big wave of change. And then through the 90s, you know, we had a little bit of a gang problem. And
A little bit.
well, you know, I wouldn't even say it's a problem. You know, in my
Not
opinion.
anymore. It's not
You
like
know,
it
well,
was.
I wouldn't even say even then. You know,
Yeah, it
because
wasn't. Spanish have made it out.
you know, you're right. It's just people. Whenever you have minorities gather in a group, whether it's in a gang or not, you're gonna get some attention. So I wouldn't even have called it a problem. I wouldn't even say it's a problem. But you know, we had a problem with some of our people going to jail. I would say that was a problem more than anybody else. But as far as the gangs, that wasn't a problem at all, in my opinion. But anyway, you know, that was one of the changes. You know, that was one of the phases that we went through, and then of course in the early 2000s we had an influx of Mexican immigrants come in, and
Central American too.
Central Americans, Mexican American immigrants, Central Americans, and people come in, and so that's really now one of the biggest populations that we have in our neighborhood. But we still have Chicanos. You know, we're still there. I'm still there. You know, my grandma's still there. My uncle, aunt, my other aunt, my mom. You know.
Y'all are part of that population that are homeowners.
Right.
And live there for all these years.
Right.
That's why I was asking you, notice the changes, if any. And like I said, you know, when I used to work for Commissioner De Leon in the 90s, we're the first, not the first ones, we followed Commissioner Han Gonzalez and some of the efforts he made in getting the swimming pool.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Marcos came into office, Parks and Rec said, well, this swimming pool is not going to be as big as we had projected because we don't have funds. We ran out of funds and da-da-da. So Marcos, being on the Commissioner's Court, seeked out funds to ensure that Dove Springs got what they had asked for. And that's why they have that big pool. And then the rec center came out. And then
the rec center was at the old Walgreens at the top of the hill.
Yeah.
And then the pool was totally separate. So they would bus kids from the old rec center to the pool. So the pool used to be a whole totally separate different thing, and then they came in and they built the new rec center and they made it a whole complex, and it's beautiful now. I run that rec center every morning, man. Every morning I'm gonna run that trail, and man, it's beautiful. Brand new playscape, brand new trail, beautiful.
Do they have a boxing program at Dove Springs?
No. They were starting one for a little bit. It was a grassroots one, and a woman by the name of Dolores Moreno was running it for a little while. And but that sort of died out. But there was a boxing program that me and my brother ran for a year or so at the Mendez Middle School through the Police Activities League.
PAL program.
Mm-hmm, through the PAL program, and ACE, they partnered together. PAL's put up the ring and all the equipment and funded it and stuff, and then ACE, of course, just put us in as employees, you know. And so we did that for a little while, and but then I made my comeback in boxing, and here we are 2 years later, you know.
Well, at 26, I was not doing politics. I'll tell you that.
I still don't consider it politics. I don't even want to go there because I'm not a politician. You know, I'm a people person.
And a lot of times those are the kind of individuals we need in bodies of government. Those that aren't politicians, because those that are, they're the ones that stay on there forever and ever. You know, because they never come through. The election is just almost around the corner. It's in November.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you've had one fundraiser already. Are you planning to have any soon, or?
Well, I think I had the fundraiser. I wouldn't even have called it a fundraiser. It was more like just
a social gathering.
A social gathering. You know, some people showed up, and we raised a few funds. You know, a little bit here and there. But we're a grassroots movement. And I'm all about the working class. So the working class people don't even, you know, they don't have extra money to give, you know. So we're not really asking the people for money. What we're asking for is the votes.
Right.
You know, so we don't, you know, fundraisers, you know, we could throw some, or, you know, but I'm not going to be out there begging people for money. I just want their vote and I want their support, and that's what we're doing right now. So I'm not going to go on. I mean, if somebody wants to come and give me a bunch of money, yeah, sure. Not me, but our campaign, give us a bunch of money. And we can use that to get out there and help the community and campaign and rally and put us into offices. Yeah, sure. But as far as milking the community for money, that's not what we're all about.
When is the filing dates? I know they're
July 25th through August 22nd.
It begins, right?
Mm-hmm.
July 25th through August 20.
August 22nd.
August.
Mm-hmm. That's the deadlines. But you can appoint your treasurer and already have
and
treasurer appointed, and we've already got some things going. So, but we might we might throw a few parties, we might throw a few events, and just get some people out there, see what the turnout is, and get the word out there. And if people want to donate, they can donate, and if not, that's fine. You know, we're all about just the grassroots movement. We're all about, you know, helping the people out.
So you have a team that's working like on your strategy, like the number of boxes that are in the district.
Mm-hmm.
How you plan to reach out to the voters?
Yeah, we've got some people.
I've
got a former professor of mine. She's advising me. She's my former government professor from ACC, and so she's advising me. And I've got my Uncle Joe Sanchez that you know. Mm-hmm. He used to work with Barrientos, Senator Barrientos, for a number of years, and a few other people.
So he's helping you as well?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's helping me, and also some young people. A young man from my neighborhood who worked on the Brad Urita. Mm-hmm. He worked on his campaign, and
right.
he's helping us. His name's R.J. Rodriguez, and then another young man from Del Valley. His name's Richard Rendon, and then a couple other guys that are just. I've got different people from different parts of the district who are helping me out in those parts of the district, and what we're gonna do in those areas, and how we're gonna get some of the votes.
I hate to cut you off here. We can't really talk too much about money here.
Right, we didn't talk about
Because
money,
this
we
is-
just said fundraiser.
Well, nonetheless, we got to be careful what we say
Or-
about
no,
money
we said-
because the
we-
rules. This is a non-profit type of
We
station.
said social gathering.
Yeah, social gathering.
Social
That's what I'm
gathering.
saying.
Yeah,
Okay.
social gathering.
Ways to get your name out.
Right. That's That's
Yeah.
like I said. We're not. That's what I'm saying. We're not asking for funds or anything from the community. We're asking for support.
Yeah,
Social
I
support.
don't think.
Right.
It's always careful. Somebody can later on come down to attack
Yeah.
us because
Right.
Yeah.
we got you on it.
Right,
Well, they were soliciting funds,
right.
Right.
so we got to make sure that it doesn't come across as though that's what we're doing.
No. Yeah.
I don't
No.
think we did that, did we?
No, but it was a good warning just because you and I know that.
Yeah, but
And,
I forget it all the time. and-
Right. And we
It'll be
were,
all right if nobody's recording.
lucky, I guess, that he didn't mention anything about money other
Yeah,
than
I
just the
didn't think
gathering.
about that part.
But let me share with you because having been there, like they say, you know how
Yeah.
y'all say, been there, done that. I too ran without, I'm not going to raise any money. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. But unless you come in with in-kinds or something, you will need to, have to put out
Thank you,
signs,
Robert.
Right.
do all this other, and all of that does
Robert
cost
King.
money.
You know Robert King.
Oh yeah, I know
You
Robert.
said, don't worry about it. You didn't say nothing.
All right. Appreciate it, Robert.
Yeah, appreciate editor, Mr. Editor.
There was another thing that
Yeah,
I
he gave me,
noticed.
Robert
That I
gave
noticed.
me a little shout out on Facebook. Sorry about
that-
that earlier. I appreciate that, Robert.
Robert's been
uh,
really active in the community.
Oh yeah.
that
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought was very interesting because even politicians that are in office today don't get that big of a response, and that was when you posted it. You had one.
Uh-huh.
You had 700 likes.
Yeah, I've got a
said,
pretty,
wow.
I've got a pretty big, pretty good following, in our community and also all over the country and some people from all over the world. But that also has to do a lot with me being signed up with a big company. It's a promotional company, so it's a promotional company for a reason. So they fly me out to California, they fly me out to Vegas, they fly me out to Omaha and put me on TV, and so that gives me a following, and that gets the people's blood running in the community. They see somebody from the community doing things like that, and they want to be a part of it.
So how would you control your report, I guess, or your behavior if you're sitting with a council member and you disagree? And all of these
Oh yeah. Well, no, I'm
Don Zimmerman.
yeah, no, I don't like
He'd
I
probably
don't-
get along good with
I
Don.
don't fight for free.
Right.
I'm gonna just say that I don't fight for free. So.
But
I'm
it
not-
is a unique transition from a
Right.
boxer to a politician.
Right.
Shifting, gears, if you will, changing.
Well,
I always say change the channels.
Right.
Change the
Well,
channel,
again,
yeah.
I'm not a politician. I'm a people person. So, and when you're a people person, you can take insults or you can take disagreements. And you know how to take the emotion out of it, and you look at the objective, what you're doing, and how you're going about it. And so that's what we've learned, and that's what boxing's taught me.
Yeah, I was going to say, you already know how to deal with people
Yeah, right.
because you're old enough to be a mentor of some of these young kids your own self.
Oh yeah. Well, I've been a mentor since I was a kid.
Yeah, so
When I was 18, as soon as I graduated school, I took a year off from school, and I got a job as an in-class tutor at Smith Elementary, which is in the district. And that's how I got my start with mentoring children and tutoring children. So I was getting paid to do a job, but then outside of the job, I was doing volunteer work with the children and mentoring and tutoring them, and just
you're already
you know,
good at what's that called, dispute resolution and stuff like that.
and having emotional intelligence. Knowing
Yeah.
knowing what people are going through, knowing that anybody you meet, no matter how mean they are to you, they could be going through something.
You
or
probably
they
have
disagree with you.
superior self-discipline over a lot of people.
Well, definitely self-discipline. I don't know if I would call myself superior, but I have
Well,
I have self-discipline.
You've seen that people that get mad, they'll throw the wrench because,
Right.
I can't get this wrench on it,
Yeah, and that's one thing that you learn as a boxer, and as a young man. Not only
better
were
get the correct wrench.
not only were those kids being mentored and given character and discipline, but me myself as a kid, I was given discipline and character and how to control my emotions and how to control my emotions in the ring and outside of the ring. So I think
that should work
boxing
well
has
for
prepared
you in hot debates in
Right.
city council
Well,
when you talk about millions of dollars.
I'll tell you a story.
Okay.
Me and a certain candidate had a run in at a little function, and it was friendly, nothing nothing too harsh or nothing. We said hello, kind, and I said, hey, you know, it's nothing it's nothing personal. It's politics. And then they replied, oh, it's always personal. But I said, oh, I don't know. How can it always be personal if it's about the people?
Yeah.
So we take the emotion out of it. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about the people. So it's never personal.
It's about the people who are actually paying this money.
Exactly.
And you're getting more and more out of people that can't.
Right.
I know, like Robert Kibbe. He how much you got to rate? He's got tax receipts from his house, and Robert Kibbe's gonna be the same thing. What is starting? He got one from years ago. It's like $380.
No, it was $37.
$37.
Wow.
Now what is it?
Now it's $5,000
Wow. For a year.
for a year.
Man.
Went from 38 from less than $50 a year to over $3,000 a
And
year.
it was in 1979.
So what's the percentage? What's that percentage increase? If you don't mind, I don't know. You know, that's got to
I'm
be
not a
crazy.
mathematician,
30,
but
35
from
years
30
or
to 5,000,
Yeah.
that's almost like what 2,000%
Yeah.
or something.
Yep.
But I know that people like Robert, he works hard.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Those are the kind of people I'm working for.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of people that are in my neighborhood.
He can't
The
afford
blue-
no
the-
giant tax increase on his property.
The blue collar working class. That's where we're at. That's
He's doing everything right. He worked
Yeah.
hard. He's buying that house,
Mm-hmm.
and you know,
Well, let me throw this one in. What's your measurement or your observation in your current council member that's sitting right now? Do you feel
Do it make
she's
personal.
doing enough? Or?
Yeah.
No,
well,
I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
it's
well-
not-
Speaking.
we're talking about
yeah,
public policy.
Yeah.
Professionally speaking, I think they've
Public
done
policy.
a good job at the city level, but not as much as they should be doing at the community level. So whenever you run for city council, it's two jobs.
Mhm.
You have your job at the city where you're working with the entire city, and then you have your job where you have to go above and beyond on the extra hours out in your community. And there's big parts of the district and the community that don't really know who she is and what she's about, and that's a problem. You know, the entire district should know. And so that's one thing, unaccountability, you know, not being present in big parts of the community, not letting the community know about big things like Code Next, you know, and then also bring the housing that's been brought in. I think that we're supposed to be working for affordable housing, but the housing that's been brought in is not affordable, or it's not or at least affordable for the people who live in the neighborhood, you know. So that's what we're working on. We're working on true affordability, true accountability, and all representation for everybody, not just certain parts of the district.
Do y'all, are you getting like together once a week with your advisors or your group, or what activities are you engaged in right now as you
Right now we're
work towards that November date?
since we had this fight. Right now we're working on the networking process.
Okay.
So, you know, met you guys, and here I am on the show. You know, we networked, went to the town hall meeting. I met a couple other young men there. I learned that they've got a committee at the River City Youth Center. I've met with Mr. Hernandez, the one that's running for sheriff. Just different people, just right now networking on social media, networking on Facebook, getting my name out there. And then once we start getting that established, then we're going to start hitting that campaign trail. And we do meet. We were meeting once a week with my team, but the past couple of weeks we sort of put that on hold for the
Because
fight.
of your boxing.
Yeah, for the fight, and then now here we are, and we're gonna start picking that up again.
Will you be fighting between now and November, or?
I believe maybe October sometime.
October.
So, but that helps, you know. Like you said, I put a post up last night,
Yeah.
and it got 700 something
Yeah.
likes. So that helps.
Yeah,
you
because
know, that helps to put the
early
word out
vote
there.
begins October 24th
Mhm. Right,
and runs through November the 4th, I think.
right.
already time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's kind
Yep.
Yep, it's just around the corner. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's real close
Mhm.
for that. So it's going to be an interesting race
Right.
for sure,
Yeah.
because you have yourself a homeboy, if you will, from the barrio, from
Yep.
Dove Springs, that everyone knows you or you know them,
Mhm.
because of the
Right.
roots in the neighborhood. And I've always personally also been a strong supporter of Austin natives
Right.
running for office, because I've always had this saying that people that come from other towns in Texas, and mainly South Texas, Laredo, McAllen, that end up here in Austin and for some reason get hung up with the Democratic Party, and then they bring them to us and say, hey, this is going to be your leader. I said, really?
Yeah.
I don't even know who he is or who she is.
You
You know,
talk about who that was.
yeah, and
Is
and
he represented here, the
you
state
know,
house?
and it happens too many times. I think the last grassroots candidate that we had represent us, Austin native. You know, Margaret Gomez is not from Austin. And she's close.
She's not.
No, she's from San Marcos or
Another
something like
Democrat
that.
that I kind of like.
Right.
She's always out in the streets.
Yeah,
She's always out there.
Oh yeah, Commissioner.
But the
Gomez.
only one that
She gave me a shout out too. I appreciate that, Commissioner Gomez.
was Commissioner De Leon. You know, when he was in office. That was the last that I've seen. I'm like you. I'm a native person.
Right.
Growing up in East Austin. That was the last true barrio election that was won by an Austin native.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking about families doing this, doing a plate or donating this. It was all in kind.
Right.
But we had like around maybe 100 or so volunteers. Blue collar workers.
Right.
I mean, these people weren't making no $18, $20 an hour, you know, but it was that steadfast commitment and dedication to that election. But hence then we haven't had,
Right.
you know, we haven't had anyone from Austin, you know, Mexican American to represent us that was born and raised here.
Right.
Because we have Eddie Rodriguez from McAllen, you know, and De La Garza I think is also from McAllen. I think that's where I read she was from. And so all these people, and then this is what happens. Once they win, and let's say they serve 2 terms, you don't see them anymore.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
for example, my friend, and he may be looking, and I'll let him know. Raul Alvarez. Where's Raul Alvarez? Where's he at? You know, the environmentalists brought him to our community and said, "Hey, this is going to be your candidate." I said, really?
Where is it?
Yeah.
Who is it?
You know.
I remember that.
So I'm glad that you're running, and I'm glad that you threw your hat in there, and people out there that live in District 2. Tell us what District 2, what areas are there for people that...
District 2 is west of 35, so it's in between Slaughter and Stastny, a little bit past Stastny, and then all the way up to Palace Parkway, past South First, past Congress, all of that. So that's west, like mostly the Ditmar, what they call the Ditmar area, real true South Austin. And then all of Dove Springs, 78744. Well, I don't like to call all the 78744 Dove Springs because there's a lot of neighborhoods. There's the Williston Creek neighborhood, there's Franklin Park, Dove Springs, there's Salt Springs.
I forget what they call the one I'm at. I'm right there off Nichols Crossing Terry Road area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right there. Williston Creek, I think is what that one is.
That's one across the street from me.
Spring Meadows.
Something like that.
Yeah, Spring Meadows. Yeah, the Spring Meadows. But there's a lot of different neighborhoods, and then also Del Valley. And Del Valley is a huge district and is being completely ignored. There's one bus that goes out there. There's a library, CODA, you know, all of that. There's probably no bus that goes out to CODA. You know, no kind of sort of city resources that should be included, and those are annexed into the district. Right. You know.
Well, I guess I can.
Can I?
Go ahead.
Can I come in there? Yeah, we got to be kind of careful here. I want to talk about money.
Okay.
The city budget, because we ain't got a lot of things scheduled here on this show. The 8th will be the girls' show with past Rosemary Edwards, past chairman for the Republicans. But I'm trying to get your opponent down here on the 15th to talk about budget.
Right.
Not for maybe we can do that later, but let's see if I can get it. I should find out this week if she can come down for the 15th, because I wanted to talk about the budget some with her. So we'll talk about the budget with you, I guess. How much of it do you know about? I guess have you been keeping up on it at all?
Yeah,
or?
I've been keeping up on some of it. I think we have $911 million, something like that, you know. And 69.
And we can't cut the grass on East William Canton.
Yeah.
Skinny lane.
Yeah.
I can't drive down when it's raining or not.
Yeah, that's another thing. That's what I'm saying. We're $1 billion city. You know, we want to be a global city. We want to attract all these people, but yet we can't get our grass cut in some of the neighborhoods. And so that's what we're working on. We got $911 million.
Light rail and bike lanes, and we got check holes in a lot of cities.
Yeah, 69% goes that to public safety, like APD, EMS, you know, fire safety,
Yeah,
things like that.
The city manager.
2 words. Affordable housing.
Affordable housing.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean $300,000 for a home.
Nah.
You know, me and my wife,
or
we're
even
older now, and
or even $150,000 for a home. That's, you know, it's $150,000 initially. But after 20, 30 years, that's $300,000.
Yeah,
you know,
because
if
of the
not
loan.
more, because of the loan, because of property taxes, because of maintenance, you know, things like that. And that's a 30-year mortgage. So I would like to work on maybe getting people into a 20-year mortgage with $100,000 or less. And I think we're gonna have to bring some help in for that one. You know, we
How do
can't,
you
you
get,
know,
you can't build anything for less because the property taxes are so
Right.
high.
The,
And now it's coming out there to the 4-4.
Yep.
The,
Yeah, my parents' property taxes.
My
they've
rent
been-
just
they've
went
been
up,
there- yeah.
you know, I have to rent.
That's right. When we were at the town hall meeting that De La Garza held, I think by the time you got there, they
Oh,
had
I wish
already.
he was here too. You'll be here next time. He says he called 311 about the grass. Oh, have you called 311 about the grass?
Oh yeah. My dad's the unofficial neighborhood watch, and that he's always constantly telling me, hey, what are you gonna do about that meeting? What are you gonna do about this? What are you gonna do about that? What are you gonna do about these things that are happening out there? But yeah, we're constantly calling 311.
You know, let me say
putting it out
something
there.
about that because.
Because I can.
Go
I
ahead.
don't want to lose this.
Go ahead.
Commanders Forum's coming up. You know.
Mhm.
I think a week from anyway, it's coming up pretty soon. This week or next week. Next week or week after. For our area, and also on the neighborhood watch thing. And one of the programs they're going to plug is whether to call 911 or 311.
Right.
And I know you're familiar with that kind of thing. Maybe you could explain. Well, we're going to run out of time for explaining that, so never mind.
Right.
I'm sure we'll probably see you at the Commander's Forum.
Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We'll announce that when it comes time.
What's your again? We're talking about a big difference in generations here, Polk and me and you. What's your perception or your observation, I guess, of this most recent issue of police and killing black men and vice versa? This whole issue this whole discussion and
Right.
unfortunate situations that are occurring regarding relationships with the police.
Right. What's happening is there is a division of society.
Okay.
We're dividing society into black and white, or white and brown, and that's not the case at all, and that shouldn't be the case. And I agree with some of the things that the Black Lives Matter have. I absolutely agree with some of the things that the All Lives Matter have, and I believe that you need a little bit of both. You need some police. You know, you can't just have a free for all, but then you can't just be out there killing people for no reason either. You know, I had a recent experience with a run-in with the law myself. I was running. I was being a stand-up, straight-up citizen myself, not doing anything wrong. I was on my daily run, because that's what I consider work. You know, people ask me, do I work? I say, yeah, I work, man. I train all day, every day. You know, I wake
jog
up
every day?
Yeah, every morning. I'm waking up 6, 7 in the morning. I was going out there jogging. And it was early in the morning. I wasn't doing, nothing wrong was going on. So I went to go run the Dove Springs Trail, and some police officers followed me for almost a mile.
On the Dove Springs Trail?
On the Dove Springs Trail. Yeah.
What were they in? Or bicycles or?
No, they were on a car driving on the trail. You know, following me, trailing me, and
I think you see a Mexican run at 7 o'clock in the morning on a park trail.
yeah.
These officers not doing it.
I had shoes on. I had running shoes on, running shorts, but I did have a hoodie on. But I was sweating. You know, I had a hoodie on, sweating, but
Maybe.
Yeah.
Either that or it might have been some of those.
But you know, either way,
that's what looked good or something.
that situation could have turned out a lot worse if I would have reacted in an unfavorable way. But why should I have to act favorably when I didn't do anything wrong?
Well,
You know, why should I have to not be the one who's not making the mistakes when those mistakes were already being made without being properly
were
identified?
they looking for somebody? Was there,
Well,
recently
yeah,
a burglar in the area?
yeah, they said there was a burglar in the area, but they didn't identify themselves was the first mistake and the first thing that went wrong. They didn't identify themselves or the organization that they were with and their name.
Well,
They
they're in a uniform, right?
Well, anybody could be in a uniform,
It's true. But
right?
Yeah.
You know, so I don't.
You're right. They're supposed to be Austin police, even
Yeah.
though they're in the car and all that.
Right, and it just blatantly but I complied. They let me go, and I went on my way. But those things, while they were looking for me, they could have been out there looking for the burglary suspects. If there was really a burglary out there. But still, that's what's going on. I think the society's being divided, and we're being made to dislike each other more and more, and the tensions just keep rising and rising. And I think something definitely has to be done about it soon. And maybe more relations. And I think that comes from community policing.
He was in a cop car?
Yeah, driving on the trail. Yep. Yeah.
Have you seen any relationship with APD improve ever since the David Rocha incident in Dove Springs?
I would say from APD or from like any law
Both,
enforcement.
APD and
Sure.
yeah.
I think there's one officer that's doing a good job with. He's involved in the community. That's George Morales. He recently he was already an officer,
Constable, new
but now he's a new
Right,
constable.
right.
But he's born and raised
Right.
in the area, and so that's what we're striving for. Community policing. You know, people who are from the neighborhood, people who have relations with people from the neighborhood. That way the tensions aren't so high, and that's why things don't get out of hand so quickly. You know, so that's what we're about. You know, that's what we would like to see more of, community policing.
And good thing you hit on that because right now, for example, and I'll let you comment on it if I don't get like Pokey go into war stories with this. But
And you know, rest in peace,
I
Danny
got you,
Rocha.
man. Come on.
Yeah, rest in peace to Danny Rocha. That was you know, he was a neighborhood.
Yeah.
He was a neighborhood friend, and people knew him. A lot of people that I know, and a lot of people that he knew. We all knew each other, and he was a part of the same group that I was, almost my same age.
see it.
That was the kid got shot by the female cop.
Right,
She
by
was
the
fighting
female-
with.
Right.
And I thought, man, my partner's down there fighting this guy. I don't pull out a gun and shoot.
When she found out he was a masculine male, not a.
Well,
Something
that goes
different.
back to the day when we didn't have a gang problem.
But
That's your word, so you know.
No, well, I didn't say a gang problem. I said we had
That
a little
latter
bit.
one.
Yeah. No, I
Yes.
said there was a little bit of. I
I'll
said
give
the
you that.
gangs were a problem. I said we had a problem of more of our people being locked up than there should have been. The gang. There's nothing wrong with communing together. There's nothing wrong with
That's
organizing.
true.
There's nothing wrong with getting together, and there's
There
nothing
was
wrong with
never
starting
a
your
lot
own
of
group.
gang graffiti in Dust Springs. So you're right. There was never that big a problem, I guess. Not like you think from the East Coast somewhere or something, you know.
so the another issue that well, like I was saying that when you got there at the meeting, they had already made a presentation on the budget.
Right.
The overall budget, what was it, 2.9 billion,
I
almost 3
can't
billion.
count anywhere near that.
It was
high.
it's $3 billion. I remember when I was
Yeah.
around your age, when I was working for the city, I was in the union, and my God, it was $1 billion back then. So can you imagine over
That
the
seemed
last?
outrageous, huh?
It is $3 billion. Your biggest revenue department is the electric department.
Right.
They're-
Utilities.
They themselves are just $1 billion in revenue that they bring in. And one of the reasons that I'm real familiar with a lot of the electric company issues is because we fought the closure of the Holly Power Plant, you know,
Right.
and we were successful.
I agree with you, Robert. And
and
it
my-
is
They were,
much better now.
They were decommissioning that for a little bit.
Yeah, well, it's gone.
Took a long
It's
time.
gone, and,
Yeah.
and my friend over here fought me because he didn't want
Yeah.
it shut down.
It was a great. It was
He
a
and,
great part. It was
Councilmember Humphrey.
generating lots of juice.
Yeah.
He and Councilmember Humphrey.
All you do is if the people didn't like it, but you had some point. There was a lot of power going just feet over Grandma's head.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I got to give you some, and look what happened.
Yeah.
You moved that plant out. They went to burial.
Yeah,
Yep.
well, it's going, and I mean, we're barely hanging on. But, you know, that in itself is basically an issue of how our properties are appraised, and they're appraised different in Texas. So that's an issue that needs to be taken to the legislature, because they
That's
cure
a
that.
state issue. Yeah.
Yeah, they cure that. But, for example, in Texas, well, we just sold a home for $300,000 down the street. Therefore, your house is going to be
Right,
sold
yep.
for that. See, that's wrong. Whereas in other cities and other states, they appraise the property individually. Okay, so I can have a mansion next to mine,
Mhm.
and it won't impact me with the taxes.
Right.
See, so
You
that's
sure about that?
yes.
It's my understanding that the mansion next door drives your property values up.
Well,
In
here
Texas, yes.
Yeah.
I'm talking about other cities,
Oh,
other
okay.
states, where they only appraise that one property, and they sell that one property.
10-4.
You know, it's different. But
I don't want to lose my question.
Go ahead.
but, body cameras.
the body cameras,
It's part of the budget and all.
$17 million
Wow. Yeah.
is budgeted for body cameras.
Actually done the same job for half price.
And this is my spill on it, and then I'll get your input on it. Mine is that first, to begin with, I don't see how we should even have to go there, because when they are hired, they take an oath
Yeah.
that they're supposed to protect and defend the rights and the Constitution of the United States.
Right.
Now, why should I be spending $17 million to ensure that officer's going to deliver that? You know.
Yeah, I understand.
Now, to me, if he can't deliver that, he shouldn't have that job to begin with.
Right.
You know.
I agree
So-
with that part, but
So today,
$18 million.
I don't know. Let me ask you: do you feel that it would be a whole lot safer to have that officers have body cameras versus not having body cameras?
If they don't turn them off, or if they don't accidentally get cut off, somehow, and if they're not for $17 million.
Sometimes you think he is, huh?
I don't think for $17 million we need body cameras, and I think Austin's one of the safest cities in the nation right now, and I don't think that's the.
We should be. We got some of the highest paid cops.
Yeah,
we have a professionalism.
We have a big budget,
money.
but body cameras, they could mitigate some of the things, but whenever people have that oath or they take that oath, there's human error. People are human, so they might not always follow that oath. They might not always follow that protocol, or they might not be well trained enough to handle the pressure to follow that oath. Because that's what happens with a lot of these shootings.
That's true.
These officers under a lot of pressure, a lot of stress. It's a highly stressed job, and if you're not trained as a professional boxer or as a war machine or as somebody who's been out there to war before or who's been in combat, whenever you come up on the situations, you're gonna panic. And so I think to mitigate some of that, I think a body camera would sort of maybe not help, but it would clarify some of the things that went wrong or didn't go wrong.
So what would you, as a policymaker, instruct that, like you mentioned, we make sure that they don't turn them off and things
Right.
like that? Are those some of the things that you would implement in this policy?
You take all the fun out of it.
Well, go ahead.
Don't you use my camera? You can't turn it off when you want to, do
Right.
something at the donut shop or something.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. I mean, if I don't have any control over the policy, and if it's there, then I'm gonna definitely do my best to improve that policy in favor of the people, in favor of the people who paid for the cameras, in favor of the people who the cameras are supposed to protect. And so, if the cameras are there and I can't do anything about it, then yeah, I'm gonna definitely put some policy in there where the cameras have to be on at all times, and then also whenever protocol, what happens whenever people get pulled over, making sure that they're all in the dash cam view, making sure people know, making sure also that the people themselves who get pulled over know protocol, know how to treat the officers with kindness, know how
I like that right there.
know how to comply properly with the police, know how to identify yourself, and also Mr. Polka here said some people have CHLs. And you're supposed to. There's a protocol that
There's
you
a
have.
protocol
There's
you
a
have to go
protocol
through.
that you have to go through whenever the officer pulls you over. So just education. That would have a big impact, on the conflicts between police.
I
and
stick
people.
up for the cops a lot too. You're gonna get a lot of the attitude you give them.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
I know. I don't disagree with.
I like exactly what you're
yeah,
saying.
Yeah. I don't disagree
What
with.
the hell you pulled me over for?
Right.
Among your
Turn the
peers,
radio down,
among
stuff
your
like that?
peers and your age and Dove Springs that hang out and cruise around or just hang out,
Yeah.
is there mistrust with the police?
Yeah. Most definitely.
We
I
still
mean,
got 5 minutes left, Mom. Don't rush it too much.
yeah. We. Yeah, I mean that's the group. That's the group I come from.
Right, that's what I'm saying, so-
I come from the '90s. I come from '90s Dove Springs, and there's definitely been a build-up of trust. I'm a minority, like we would like to say, and I hear it, black and brown. We wear the same crown, So we're all in it together. So if one of our brothers gets killed, or if somebody else, a brown man gets killed, then we're all in it together, and we're all angry. So, I wouldn't say there's mistrust, but we like to keep things between ourselves and not have to rely on the police.
Yeah, and I think
Good too.
you mentioned something that I've always we have always been pushing for here in Austin, and that's community policing.
Yep.
If these officers would get out of their cars, walk the neighborhoods, bike ride the neighborhoods, because
Right.
they used to do them about 2 or 3 years ago.
Yep.
And a lot of times you find that engagement in itself diffuses a lot of illegal activity.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
ran into that experience when I was at South Austin Rec Center, and we would have the POW program there, and we had
Yeah, we have
families.
5 minutes.
We had families from Bowling Oaks and Booker T,
Right.
and they were there working with the kids and the parents, the police. So for sure that on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, if you drank or you did whatever, you weren't going to do it.
Yeah.
So that's a distraction.
Yeah.
It's a positive thing. But anyway, like you mentioned, we only have 5
They
minutes.
do have a lot of programs the police do.
Yeah.
The
Oh, yeah.
Commander's Forum coming up.
I mean,
Coffee
but-
with a cop, all this kind of stuff going on. Like you say, with this planning commission, it's hard to get people involved because when you're working 50, 60 hours a week,
Yep.
40 or 50 hours a week, you got your family, You don't want to get up and go down to City Hall or boards of commissions and want to see what's going on, or
And stay there till 2 in
even
the morning.
your Councilmember Garza came out there for the town hall meeting at Dove Springs Rec Center, and there's what, 40, 50 people there, 60?
Maybe. If
It
that.
wasn't that many, about 30.
Yeah.
I would say.
I think I
And half
counted
of them
like
were
45.
But half of them were staff.
Half of them were staff. It's, yeah, we got things coming up. I am trying to get Councilmember Garza to come on and tell us something about the.
Okay, let's, before we wrap up, want to remind everyone that we'll be at Pan Am Recreation Center tomorrow at the
Don't worry
Pan Am
about it. You
site.
just text anytime you want to.
And
Me too.
we'll
I'll
be
be there.
registering to vote, and you can come join us if you want. We'll have a table. LULAC has a table out there. And this is one of the biggest reach-out efforts that we'll be doing, LULAC, El Concilio Neighborhood Association. Well, we changed our name from El Concilio Neighborhood Associations, because that's mellow, to El Concilio, a family of Mexican-American landowners.
What about,
Yeah, I was gonna say, man,
Black
we're
or
all
Anglo
we're all
landowners.
inclusive. We're supposed to be all inclusive.
yeah, I thought you were supposed to be, you know.
Well, you can be a Mexican-American if you want.
I got my plaque saying how much LULAC appreciate
That's what I'm
it.
saying. You can be a Mexican-American if you want. That's
I
inclusive.
appreciate that.
But anyway, good luck on your election, your
Appreciate it.
campaign, and if people want to volunteer, work with you,
Yeah.
let them know where they can get a hold of you, how they can get a hold of you, and things
Facebook?
like
Yeah,
Ramos,
yeah.
Casey
Facebook,
Ramos?
Casey Ramos. Just look me up on Facebook, Twitter, Ramos for D2, and then also email me, CaseyRamos4D2@gmail.com. And we're more than willing, and just look me up, and I'll add you or whatever I can, and email you back as soon as we can, and we'll get the things rolling.
There's, well, anyway, that's close. Yeah, just go to Facebook, you'll find it.
Yeah.
Anyway, it has been good to have you on. You got any things coming up? We got a minute and a half. No show next week. The first, we got Mike Lee's putting on something. I don't know what it is. The 8th will be the girls and Dr. Rosemary Edwards. And we're trying to get Councilmember Garza down here to talk only by herself. She didn't want to come with my man Don Zimmerman or anything like that, talk about the budget, because the budget talk is coming up. It's coming up pretty quick. And then we got to start getting some candidates on, because like you say, it's almost time to start voting. And I did want to get, the school board is pretty important stuff. A lot of people don't realize how important some of these little down ballots
Yeah.
are.
And District 2 school board race is going to be on the ballot as well.
It's going to be on the ballot as well.
Your friend is a current school board member there. I ain't going to go there, but
I got to argue. He always wants
But
diversity and inclusion, and I said no. Reading, math, and science.
Yep.
Forget all this diversity and inclusion stuff.
Yeah.
well,
Anyway.
it was nice chit-chatting with Dove Spring homeboys,
Yeah.
both of them.
Yeah.
You got a minute
Oh,
left.
boys.
Say something.
Man, I appreciate y'all. Shoot, we're all about Dove Springs. We're all about a grassroots movement. Let's really put somebody into office who really wants to work for the people, and let's do it. And I appreciate y'all's time.
10-4. We'll be able to talk to you again.
Oh yeah, yes sir.
Yes, as we get closer to the election, and especially early vote.
We'll see you
We'll
at
be
some
out
events
there.
out there, like
And-
like
Oh, yeah.
the Commanders Forum.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
Are you on with what's it called, Next Door?
Next door.
Yeah, it's Obama's website or
Okay.
something that he started here in town. Oh, 30 seconds. Yeah, it has been good having you here. We'll have you here again. Check him out on his Facebook, folks.
And
Young man.
don't forget, if you're not registered to vote, October the 11th is the deadline
So
to
you better get
register
on
to
down.
vote in
And
the
I think
presidential election.
you can text 78683, and if you text that number 78683,
10 seconds.
then they'll send you a card already postmarked, and you can just fill it out and send it right back.
Okay, anyway, later on, folks. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.